Hi, my name is T,
And I'm Drew.
and welcome to our YouTube series, Love Beyond Borders. Love Beyond Borders takes you through the journey of wedding planning because we had one of the most spectacular weddings in 2023, and we want to give you all the tips and tricks on how to have a successful wedding abroad.
Yes, and as you would have seen in the title, today we're going to be talking about, is trad accessible for same-sex couples? So we're going to be getting into it today.
Yes, and I think one thing that was very important for us was to show our representation as queer men through our tradition also, because I'm Nigerian and Drew is Ugandan, and we believe that there's an intersectionality between those two identities that we wanted to make seen and shown through our wedding. So yeah, I guess why did we decide to do a trad sort of shoot would be the question, because this picture went viral, it went crazy, and it wasn't necessarily our intention. The main thing we wanted to do was to show and celebrate our identity as African gay men.
Yes. Yeah, it was a moment. Wow, what a moment. And I remember, like, we actually originally wanted to do a whole trad wedding. Like, we wanted to do it the day. I don't know, how would it actually come together logistically? Because we wanted to do a trad wedding the day before the white wedding out in the south of France, right?
Technically, our wedding reception could have been a trad wedding, but I think the thing we thought about is like we wouldn't want to put guests through figuring out.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things the guests have to plan to join us. So the last thing we wanted is like, okay, you also have to look for traditional wear.
Yeah. And also, let's not remember Faye, our creative consultant for our wedding. She basically, when we were talking through some of the ideas that we had, she said that it would have been like out of theme for us to have done a trad wedding in the south of France the day before our main wedding in the venue that we picked. Because she said that, like, how are we pulling in elements from the environment into the theme for our wedding? I remember her giving us that advice. So as well as the cost, as well as guests having to like buy trad wear, it was also like, how are we pulling in elements of the fact that we get married in the south of France into the actual wedding itself.
Yeah, and I think it was good for her to sort of give us that advice, because it was looking up, sort of reflecting upon it. I think I wanted to have a trad wedding just as part of like traditions. Like I've seen like heterosexual couples traditional wedding, then the white wedding, and I was like, why not? Let's do it. But then now thinking about it, it was very right the way we did it, in the sense that a traditional wedding wouldn't have fit in the environment we were in per se. So definitely good advice on there. And I think another reason why we then decided to do it as a shoot is because of the amazing friends we have. So a lot of our friends were in fashion, and we basically told them, we have the traditional outfit, we want to take pictures, but we're not really sure what the idea is going to look like. And they came on that day.
Vision, everything down packed. Like, how many people? It was like a good 4 or 5 of them helping us put that picture together, you know, with on the iPhone, of course. But we like scouted. So we were staying in this hotel. They scouted locations around the hotel. And then they took the pictures. They were like making I remember one of them, I was like, oh, we should take a picture of this patch where it looked like a jungle. And they were like, no. Do you remember that? There was literally like a really bushy area where like, and they were like, no. One of them even said it looked like plantations, chat.
Honestly, I think this is something we need to break down, because like the iPhone, first of all, was what we shot on. And we were very confused as to how they got that quality of pictures. And then secondly, Drew was right. Attention to detail. Like when my brother would fall down one way, you see one of them run quickly before the next one was taken, pull it back up, pin it back up. And then the videos of behind the scenes. Guys, it was just having amazing friends to get you the quality you deserve, but also for cheap. For free.
Yeah, for free. Like these are people who work in the industry. Like these are well-known fashion people, and they were just helping us out with this vision. Where did you get your Agbada from?
Interesting enough, again, fashion people. So Orange Culture, the Orange Nerd, Adebayo Okelawal, he was the one who introduced me to the designer in Nigeria. I've forgotten his name, but what we'll do is we'll just link his page here. And Bio measured me, sent my measurements to Nigeria. I have never seen this outfit before. Like in terms of, I think I only got it like a week before the wedding. And when I got it a week before the wedding, I put it on and it fit like a glove. There was no detail out of place.
Nothing. Literally no notes.
Yeah.
No notes.
But interesting.
And do you remember the reference that you used?
Yes.
For your Agbada, yeah.
The reference I used for my Agbada was Obasanjo at the White House when he went to the White House for the first time, because it was just giving luxury. It was just giving excellent. So when I saw that, I sent him the picture. I was like, this is it. This is the color. He sent me a list of color materials, and I was like, this is the color material I want. And he executed it to perfection. Perfection is all I would say. I think your journey though, finding yours was interesting, because I don't think there was, first of all, that many tailors or many people that you could easily connect with.
Yeah, so finding a Ugandan tailor was really difficult for me, because I remember I put a call out on Instagram. It was actually my sister-in-law, Rumbi, who put us in touch with one of their friends who was Ugandan, who managed to hook us up with a tailor. And she also designed my mum's gomasi, which she also wore to our wedding. And what you'll see me wearing is something called kanzu. And I wore that with a hat. Why have I forgotten the name of the hat? I should know this. Ugandan.
I was about to say matoke.
Drag me. Matoke is the banana.
I know.
Not banana. I mean, it's a family banana. Ugandans, okay, don't come for me. But yeah, I remember it was the first time I ever wore a kanzu, and it was just so crazy because the fact that both of our trads like complemented each other so well, like the colors, the styles. But I do remember people thinking that I was from Northern Nigeria though. Like a lot of people thought that I was from Northern Nigeria. And I was just there like, y'all need to start with the erasure. But yeah, it just worked out so perfectly. Yeah.
And I think one thing I loved seeing about that whole period of the shoot was, I felt like this was the closest I've seen Andrew sort of be, how like would it, enthralled in his culture, like embraced by his culture, in the sense that yes, he's like from Uganda, like he eats Ugandan food and everything, but I think that this was the first time I saw him being immersed in his own culture in a public way, because I think you've been to Nigerian weddings with me, you've been to like you've put, I think you've even put on like Nigerian outfits and things like that.
Yeah, because we almost did it in 2 Agbadas, remember?
Yeah.
We almost were going to shoot the trad in 2, but I was just like, no, I really want to honor like my Ugandan heritage with this picture, because I want people to see that these 2 things can exist. You can be queer, you can be Ugandan, you can be proud, like
and
all
you
of
can be
these.
hot, because
yeah,
he looked kind of hot in that outfit.
Did you catch the Pradas? Yeah, that's right.
No, you looked hot, and I think that was So I think answering the question, yes, I believe you should, as a queer person, embrace your culture. Now, how you do that is up to you, in the sense that we did not have a traditional wedding, but we
got the shoot though.
We got the shoot.
We got the image.
And we got the videos to prove it too. So yeah, we embrace our traditional, our traditions in that sense, where it's like it's still celebrated, it's still honored, and it's still A. So find what fits you. And I guess outside of trad, Drew, what other things do you feel like we broke tradition on?
So we kept our surnames.
Yes.
One. So the reason why we decided to keep our surnames, I don't know. My surname's really important. Like my namesake's really important, and I think I just wanted to preserve that. I also just don't see. I did, however, think that by us preserving our surnames, it would be harder for us to prove that we're married. When we're out in public. So for instance, there was a time where me and T were coming back from holiday and we were trying to line up at customs in the same queue, and because Tosin has a travel document whereas I have a British passport, and they were asking us to prove that we were married,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my god, I was like, the only thing we have are our Instagram pictures, like we don't even, we have our, and I think that made me realize we should always have our wedding certificate on our phone, at least a scan of it on our phone. So I was worried about that, but then I would much rather us double barrel our kids' names, so have, oh, should I be saying our government names, child? Oh. But yeah, double barrel our kids' surnames.
Yeah.
Why did you ever think about giving up your surname? Why did you want to keep your surname?
I think there's a lot of power in sharing your journey and also keeping your identity along the way. Now, a lot of people change their surnames based on what they've seen as almost like a...
It's like the societal,
pressures,
societal convention.
Yeah. And
to have the same surname. And I do understand the paranoia, like you're now both one, right? But
I also, fair enough, but in my opinion, I think it also can become archaic in the sense that there is no less value in the other person's surname than yours. Like, what makes yours more important than theirs? So I think double barrel is the way forward for me personally. If there was ever a compromise, I don't think stripping away your identity, unless there's like a bad omen to your surname and you want to strip away that identity, I feel like you should keep your surname where you can and double barrel it, because you have achieved a lot under that name, and for you to erase all of that because you've just married somebody, personal opinion, I don't agree with it. So double barrel where you can. Right, another one was we decided to have no one for our groomsman and bridesmaid. So we basically...
Sorry, Ola.
We basically decided that when it was time to walk down the aisle, we just wanted it to be us, have our moment. Except for Africa, of course.
And
Tolu. And the flower girl, and Africa, the, what do you call it? The head of ceremony?
Head of ceremony.
The celebrant. Yeah. We just wanted it to be us. Because we felt in that moment, there's a lot of pressure with the guests coming already. We did not want to give them the additional sort of task of being a bridesmaid, groomsman. It's like, just come, celebrate with us, and be in the moment.
Have fun. Like, we want to have like the least amount of tasks for our guests, honestly. Outside of Ola, who I will say was our self-appointed maid of honor.
Yes.
He organized our welcome event, which we had the day before our wedding. It was incredible. Like, we had speeches, there was laughter, tears.
Yeah.
It really was a great icebreaker for us. And he also organized my hen/stag do, which was amazing. Like,
they had a stripper, but that's something we talk about.
Yeah, I had a stripper. It was bad. And yeah, that was amazing. I also think we didn't want our guests to feel a sense of hierarchy as well. Like, with having groomsmen and bridesmaids, we wanted everyone to feel uniform. And I think that also fed into the what do you call it, dress code.
Yeah,
having everyone wearing similar colors. Like, yeah, we wanted it to feel really uniform.
Yeah. And the other one is we weren't rigid on the dress code either.
I think one of the traditions that I had a bit of conflict about was whether to have a male and a female dress code. I remember having a bit of conflict about that because I was like, should I really be so rigid to like put like on the basis of sexual identity to like have these two buckets in terms of what our guests wore?
Gender identity, not sexual.
Gender identity.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, should I be so rigid? And even if you look at our website, we did split it by like male guests and female guests. But my niece actually wanted to wear a tux. So we had tuxes for males, and then but we did say like tuxes you can interpret how you want. Like, if you wanted to wear a skirt with your tux, it was more just about like tux in your own way. So my niece actually ended up wearing a tux, and she looked so beautiful on the day. So like, we were flexible with that. It wasn't like super rigid.
You can see it come through the pictures because the memo was tux, but the girls were savage.
Yeah.
They were 7 looks.
Tux deconstructed, tux constructed.
Boots to the heavens.
Literally high heels on my titties.
Our guest looks so fab.
We need to have some pictures of guests. Let's run the pictures of our guests because, and also with the dress code, remember we were like, don't hold back. Like,
yeah, I think really allowing our guests to go off with everything, because it was, we basically said, when you look back on these pictures, we want you to feel like this was one of the best dressed moments of my life. Bring it. And I think another one that we love is that my mother-in-law, Andrew's mom, wore a gomasi. She embraces every facet of being a Ugandan woman with pride.
yeah.
Like when the color scheme came out and everything, she was like, that's fine. I'm going to give you your color scheme, but I'm going to give it to you in a gomasi. And she looked stunning. Like nothing was out of place. What was the story in getting that gomasi made?
It was through the Ugandan tailor that suggested. Yeah. So we went, when I got my kanzu, she got fitted for the gomasi as well. And they showed us some materials and they had it made. I think the gomasi that they had, it just happened to fit my mum perfectly.
Nice.
And she loved it. It was really important that, because there was one gomasi that was more aligned with our color scheme, slightly more, but she didn't love it as much as this one. I think it's really important that she felt beautiful in what she was wearing. And
she did.
And I think what I loved as well, you could see Ugandans in the comments when they saw our wedding being like, is that gomasi? It's like recognizing like there was this Ugandan woman at a queer wedding being proud to like adorn her own cultural dress. Like, yeah, wow, what a moment. I'm gonna keep saying that.
No, I think that's another way, embracing your traditions and embracing your culture without having to do a traditional wedding.
Yeah.
Your parents can wear the traditional outfits on that day and it can be adapted to fit the theme of your wedding.
Yeah.
So take notes. There's so many ways to do these things. Another one is we decided to wear our engagement rings as our wedding band. I think this is a pretty simple one. First of all,
it was expensive.
They're expensive, and secondly, I don't need to wear double rings, triple rings. It looks good, and it's for us. It's for us. It's about us. It's not what the public or what the world needs to see that they're wearing and it's that simple. It's for us, and we're happy with it. What is the last one?
So the last tradition that we decided to change or adapt was we decided to walk down the aisle together. So you'll see in our wedding video, we both walk down from either ends of the stairs. We meet in the middle and we walked down the aisle together. And I think I'm a dance choreographer. So when I was looking, I was actually thinking about our wedding through like a dance choreography lens. So, and also thinking about the story. So it's like we were separate beings, and then we walked down the stairs, and that's when we became one and walked down the aisle together. Did you catch on to that?
I did. I think what he didn't catch on was that my 2 left feet, child. Because he kept on saying...
Looking outside, make sure you hit your cue. Also, as a dancer, you got to hit your cue. I was looking, making sure that he was...
Yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. I was like, God... So much pressure. I think that's what people don't understand. Walking down the aisle is already a lot of pressure because people are looking at you. Then when you have a husband who's also a performer and you've got to hit those steps, I was just like...
But do you remember I stood at the top of the stairs for too long and you had to like nudge me like, you have to walk down the aisle. And why are you just standing here? Because I looked out and I was like, wow, like everyone you love is just... Because I remember one of my friends gave us the advice that we should take in the moment when we get to the top of the aisle, take a look around, because this is going to be one of the few times in your life when absolutely everyone that you hold close to you is in the room and they're there for you and they're celebrating you. Take a moment to take that picture in. And I stood there for I think a little bit longer than we should have.
Yeah.
And then we walked down the aisle. Yeah.
God, I cannot believe it's a year. It's a year tomorrow.
Can you still picture it when you close your eyes?
I can.
Yeah.
I can. And it's just the warmth of the sun and then just looking at everybody. And it's the way the color scheme just,
We will talk about that in another episode.
Shivers. So bringing it back to the basis of the whole conversation. Should traditions, culture, and celebrations be embraced by same-sex couples?
Yes, in our experience and from our perspective, yes, because, and I think here's what advice we would give to other same-sex couples who are looking to embrace their culture, their heritage, and celebrate and pay homage to it as part of their wedding. So one, culture is always changing, and I think we can be active participants in changing what culture is to us, how we celebrate culture, how we engage with culture, how we express our culture. Like the way I express my Ugandan culture and heritage is going to be different from how my parents do it, and that's okay. Like it changes over time, and also it can, although there's like community and there's some collective ways we express culture, there's also individual ways we do that as well.
Do not feel the pressure to adhere to traditions based on what people have told you traditions should be. It is your wedding, it is your future, it is your profile. When you look back on this, it is you. Like there is no other person who determines how your wedding should be apart from you and your partner. How you decide to embrace your tradition, how you decide to embrace your culture is down to you. Our kids are gonna look back on this one day and be like, oh wow, this was our dad, like this is how they did that, like, because they're gonna go to Nigerian weddings, they're going to go to Ugandan weddings, and they can pull up a picture and be like, oh yeah, my dad did that for his wedding too, and he ate that. Those memories are yours. So make sure you do it in the way you feel it should be honored. That would be the advice I have to give.
Yes, you have the right, you have the freedom, and also, like same-sex people have always been a part of our cultures as well. No matter how much they try and erase our history, like we've always been there, we've always been a part of the culture. So holding on to that as well as you think about your own wedding is super important. As much as people tell you that it's a no-go, like hold on to that.
Yeah.
I forgot another tradition that we kept.
What?
Spraying money.
Oh yeah.
Roll the clip. Roll the clip. I need to be sprayed. I've been so many Nigerian weddings specifically. I don't know if it's a Ugandan thing as well, actually. I don't think I've seen it at any Ugandan wedding, spraying money. But I knew that when I went to a Nigerian wedding and saw that spraying money was the thing, I knew that I wanted that to be me one day.
Yeah. And he had it. He had it. But that's the bottom line. It's like there's so many traditions, there's so many cultures, even outside of like the African wedding cultures and styles. There's so many things that you can change and adapt to make your wedding feel more you and personal to you. You answer to nobody. You answer to God and your partner. Well, if you believe in God, I do. So yeah, you answer to God and your partner, and that's what your wedding should be about. Make sure you're happy. That's the baseline.
So thank you for tuning in to this episode of Love Beyond Borders. We hope you enjoyed this conversation. We really enjoyed this one. We wanted to get into this topic. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is trad and traditions and cultural heritage, is that accessible for same-sex couples? We think it's a really important question and really important conversation. And we will see you in the next episode of Love Beyond Borders, where we'll be talking about budget, finance, how much our wedding costs. Like we'll be breaking down line by line how much our wedding costs, and it's not as expensive as you might think, or more so, who knows. Money is also relative. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you next week.